The November 21st, 2022 regular session of the Cinnaminson Township Committee is now called to order. Everyone, please rise and join me in saluting the flag.
Pledge of allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
This meeting is being held in accordance with the Open Public Meetings Act, Public Law 1975, Chapter 231. Notice of this meeting was published in the Burlington County Times and the Courier Post on January 7th of 2022. Roll call, Madam Secretary, please.
Yes, Mayor. Mr. Conda.
Present.
Mr. Horner.
Here.
Mr. Seagrass.
Here.
Deputy Mayor McGill.
Here.
Mayor Craybill.
Present.
Thank you.
Okay, we'll move on to committee liaison reports. We'll start with Committee Member Conda for Administration and Health and Senior Services.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. There are two items on tonight's agenda that I just want to briefly address. The first is the discussion item on the agenda about our annual best practices review, and I imagine we'll be talking about that later. Just a brief synopsis that once again the township has done very well, and we have met 23 of the 24 objectives. Second, and this is something that is right up my alley, being technology-based. In the ongoing effort to improve the township use of technology, we have a resolution to award a contract to begin the digitalization of our records archives, which currently consists almost entirely of paper. By scanning and cataloging everything, we'll greatly reduce the storage requirements, make the documents more easily locatable, and everything will be electronically backed up, whereas paper is not. That's all I have this evening. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you, Mr. Conda. Committee Member Horner, Finance and Economic Development.
Madam Mayor, I have nothing to add since our comprehensive report on both subjects at our last meeting.
Thank you, Mr. Horner. Committee Member Seagrass, Public Works.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Residents are reminded that the leaf collection schedule is consistent with the brush collection schedule. Leaves may be placed curbside by 7 a.m. on the Monday of the collection week and should be bagged in large recycle bags, not trash bags. For more information, contact the Public Works Department at 856-829-6703 or visit the township website, cinnaminsonnj.org. PAC&G continues road resurfacing throughout the township. Detailed project and contact information can be found by visiting nj.pseg.com. Residents are reminded that televisions and computers are banned from landfills. Detailed information regarding electronic waste disposal can be found at co.burlington.nj.us or by contacting 609-499-1001. Fiscal year 2023 New Jersey Department of Transportation local freight impact grant applications are being accepted. The township is preparing an application for sidewalk improvements to Union Landing Road and will be submitting a completed application in December. The survey and design of Wood Park lighting improvements is underway. The township is expecting to complete phase 1 of this project early spring 2023. The township has received a New Jersey Department of Transportation Local Freight Impact Fund grant for the resurfacing of Taylor's Lane. Base plans have been finalized, and a project planning meeting is scheduled in early December. The township has received a New Jersey Department of Transportation municipal aid grant for the reconstruction of Kern Street from Broad Street to Riverside Drive. The improvements include, but are not limited to, the replacement of the existing stormwater conveyance system, replacement of existing stormwater outfill, including inline check valve, extension of existing sump pump discharge collection system, concrete curb and sidewalk improvements, and a reconstruction of the roadway utilizing the pulverization, stabilization, and overlay method. Plans are being finalized, and the project is expected to be advertised in January. And I have one more note. This is from our engineer, Remington and Burdick. It is our office's understanding that the township's desire to conduct a traffic study at the intersection of Route 130 and Taylor's Lane to determine its level of service rating. The study will be used for potential signal and intersection improvements. Our engineer is recently authorized to complete the traffic study and is currently collecting information. That concludes my report, Madam Secretary.
Thank you, Mr. Segrist. Deputy Mayor McGill, Public Safety.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. The October 2022 activity report for the police department is as follows. Total incidents responded to was 2,671. Total arrests made were 35. Total property checks made were 878. Total motor vehicle stops, 463. Total motor vehicle summonses issued, 292. And total DWI arrests for the month is 6. That's all I have, Madam Mayor. That concludes my report.
Okay, thank you, Mr. McGill. Parks and Recreation. We have some interactive events and activities coming up over the next couple of weeks. The Township Holiday Lighting Celebration will take place Saturday, December 3rd at 5:30 at Wood Park. There will be musical performances, hot chocolate, cookies, and children's activities. Also this year, Cinnaminson will be holding its first ever holiday home decorating contest. Participation is free to all residents, and we enthusiastically encourage everyone to participate. To register your home, please email cturner@cinnaminson.nj.org by December 11th. For all of you driving around and looking at the holiday lights, we have a local family catching media attention with their elaborate holiday show with synchronized music. They're also taking donations for CHOP and the SNJ Food Bank. So we encourage everybody to drive by and check out 5 Olmsted Lane. This concludes my report. Let's see. So the next item on the agenda is a discussion item regarding the best practices inventory. Mr. Schubiger, can you give me some details on this?
Sure, Mayor. As Committee Member Kondo alluded to before, the Township has submitted the annual New Jersey Division of Local Government Services Best Practices Inventory. This is done on an annual basis. The inventory was designed to provide standards by which local government officials can generally assess how they are conducting business within their towns. It's been enacted for many years. The Township met all of the core competencies except for one. The only competency unmet was having public electric vehicle charging stations on municipal property. But I can tell you that we've already begun to take action on that. The Township, we've received some pricing information on charging stations, and we anticipate that when we put the budget together for '23, that we're going to include that as a recommendation to the governing body. So we'll have that ready for you to take action if you so choose to. So again, we've been very successful with that inventory of the past, and we were once again this year. To be honest, and we're not anywhere close, but the state looks at this as a method to decide on local state aid as well. So if you don't do well on this inventory, it could impact you, but we're fine. We're nowhere near any concerns, which is another real good reason that we did well on it. So thanks, Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Schubiger. Thank you. Next on the agenda is our consent agenda. I hate to throw this back at you, Mr. Schubiger, but can you give us some information on the items that are on tonight's consent agenda?
Sure. We have a number of resolutions tonight. Resolution 135 is supporting an application to operate a cannabis establishment within the township. Bear with me a little bit. I'm going to try to explain this a little bit in detail. Our Economic Development Committee has reviewed the plans for this proposed business to be located on Taylor's Lane. In order for an application to receive the appropriate state license from the state of New Jersey, the New Jersey State Cannabis Regulatory Commission requires a resolution of support from the local municipality. So our Economic Development Committee and our appropriate professionals, our attorney, our planner, we reviewed the proposed uses, and we determined as a group that they are in accordance with the land use plan and the local ordinances that govern that this township took action on about 1.5 years ago and developed in preparation for the Cannabis Regulatory Commission's requests. So again, this proposed use falls well within the local ordinances and the land use plan that we've adopted. We recommend to the governing body that a resolution of support is authorized tonight. And just to explain even a little bit more directly, I want to be clear, this action simply confirms that the proposed use fits within the township's plans and the ordinances that we have. If in fact the state issues a license to the user, they will then still have to come to the township, go through all the typical processes that they would go through as any other business and go to the appropriate local land use board to get approval within the township. So this is simply, again, a resolution of support from the governing body, which is a good step. I understand that's important for the state to get that, but they have a lot of work to do, and they will go through that process just like anybody else. Okay. Resolution 136 and 137, very similar. I'll just do them together, Mayor, if I can. In both cases, due to the supply chain issues around the world, as a matter of fact, and also locally, the governing body approved 2 resolutions previously in June and July to purchase some police vehicles that are needed. Because of inventory issues, those vendors canceled their orders with us, which I got to tell you, for me, is new. It doesn't happen often. It didn't happen just once, it happened twice. So we were able to go out, and Chief and his staff did a lot of logistic work trying to locate vehicles, and then we worked with our CFO to make sure that we addressed them properly, and we were able to secure vehicles, the same exact vehicles that we originally were trying to get back in June and July. So in both cases, after a lot of work, we collectively recommend that the governing body authorize the purchase of those vehicles. You already did, pretty much, what you did a couple months ago. It's reauthorizing it because it's a new vendor. Resolution 138 is approving a change order and a final payment for the roadway milling contract. Our township engineer, Remington and Vernick, have deemed this project to be substantially complete. The project included milling and subbase prep for work on Sequoia Drive, Glacier Drive, and also our Public Works facility parking lot. As a matter of fact, in this one, the total cost is less than originally earmarked for with the contract. So the final payment's in the amount of $4,178.14. The final contract amount is $41,781.43. Resolution 139 is authorizing cancellation of taxes for a totally disabled veteran, Block 2003, Lot 6. This went through our professionals again. They've deemed this to be eligible for the tax benefit. Resolution 140, again, Committee Member Conda alluded to this earlier, the award of a contract for document imaging services. Our professionals, we spent a lot of time on this the last couple of years, as a matter of fact, trying to get to this point. And I won't be redundant. Committee Member Conda explained the benefits. It's a huge step for the township for a lot of reasons, mainly to be more efficient. But this recommendation comes from our CFO, who went through the state contract to award a contract to Fovonics. I got that right? Fovonics Document Solutions in an amount not to exceed $75,000. The township is going to start with the construction department, where there are a lot of documents. Most towns start there, and then we'll see how it goes, and we'll go from there, how we want to utilize the service. And last resolution, Mayor, is 141 to transfer of funds. As I think everyone up here now knows, typically this time of year, in addition to overseeing the budget throughout the year, this is the time of the year that the CFO can actually make transfers between accounts to help us meet our obligations for the rest of the year and to keep us in good shape to get to December 31. And we recommend that the governing body authorize those transfers. I think that's it.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you, Mr. Schubiger.
Committee have any questions on anything that I explained tonight? All right,
sir. Thank you.
Okay, may I have a motion to open public comment on the consent agenda items only?
Madam Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to open up public comment on consent agenda items only.
Okay, I will second the motion. Voice vote, please. Ayes.
Aye.
Nays, abstentions. Ayes have it. Public comment on the consent agenda is now open. Please come forward and state your name and address for the record.
Thank you all. My name is Kenneth C. Davis. I'm on 2108 Hunter Street and right on the corner. I just have a couple questions just so that I'm clear about the resolution for support of authorization for Resolution 2022-135. As I understand it, and please correct me if I'm wrong, the state requires Cinnaminson Township notify them that it basically is all right according to our laws, our statutes, and our local regulatory issues to have a cannabis establishment. So in other words, the state's participation in the cannabis establishment starts with us saying, well, there's nothing in our laws that say they can't do it. They just need to proceed as any business would proceed to open up their shop. Is that what the resolution for support of authorization basically is for, and what it provides, what it does?
Sure, I'll give it a shot, and Justin, if you want to weigh in. So the general answer is yes. So over a year ago, maybe 2 years ago now, when this started, I don't know if you recall, the township initiated, I think Mayor Crable, you were the chairperson of the cannabis subcommittee to start getting the discourse going on this issue in the community. The township chose to opt in, which was a choice they had, like every other municipality. And when they did, they were required to develop a land use ordinance and a land use plan, which we also did after a long time. We had public meetings and adopted that here. So in order for a potential user in a municipality to obtain a license, they have to get that license from the state. One of the criteria from the state is to get a letter, a resolution of support from the governing body.
And that would be this.
That's this body,
Right.
and the only reason that the governing body has it before them tonight, and it was a recommendation of the Economic Development Committee, is because as the land use plan and the appropriate ordinances that were adopted by the governing body stand today, the proposed use fits within them clearly. So based upon that, our recommendation, the Economic Development Committee, which I do sit on, is for the governing body to authorize the support of the use. And then from there, as you started to allude to, there's a lot more that interested party has to do. This is one step.
Okay. I just wanted to know where we were in the process. And you're saying this establishment will be on Union Landing?
Taylor's Lane.
Taylor's Lane.
Yeah, if I misspoke, I apologize.
No,
It's
I
Taylor's Lane.
think you did say Taylor's Lane. Not on River Road, but Taylor's Lane.
Correct.
Not, well, can you give me an address? I'm just curious.
I think it's in the, is it block 702, lot 40 on Taylor's Lane. And it's 1503, I'm sorry. 1503 Taylor's Lane.
1503?
Yes, sir.
The old ink factory,
What was that?
the old ink place.
Yep, that's what it is.
Okay. That was my question. I just wanted to know where we were in the process. And I take it as this goes forward, we'll have some input as to what requirements they would have to satisfy to please us. And of course, they have a business and there's a standard procedure there, but given the kind of place it is, we may have some concerns, so there will be an opportunity to address those concerns, I take it.
Yes, sir. So they will need to go to the planning board if and when they get a license.
If and when, yes.
And that will be hearings, and just like, I know I used this term before, but any other business has to go through.
Right.
And there'll be an opportunity for the public to weigh in on the proposed use.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Davis.
Mike Goins, 100 Purnell, also on 135. So I assume they gave you a presentation. Did they talk about how the three different LLCs are working together? Like, is one doing the manufacturing, one doing the growing, and one doing the retail? And can you elaborate on that? And I think you alluded to the fact that they'll have to go back to the planning board. So since this is a different use than the tile that was approved back in 2019, and there was variances granted for setback, parking, they'll have to go through all that again,
May I-
I'm assuming.
So, it's a whole new application, absolutely. And as far as the uses, there are 3 LLCs. There's 4 uses, and the only part of this I won't be able to answer, Mr. Goins, is the 3 and the 4 don't match. So one of the LLCs are for 2 of them, and I could get back to you on that. I don't know offhand. But there is a manufacturing use, a cultivation use, a lab, and then a retail use.
Okay, I only saw the 3.
3 LLCs,
No, but
4
3,
uses.
I only saw 3, 1, 2, and 5.
So a lab is part of, my understanding, is part of like a manufacturing class. If that's not, then we'll take a look at that. But I
And-
believe it is.
Okay, very good. And 136 and 137, you talked about that, that was approval for the vehicles. So did we pay the same price?
But we did not, and the price
Okay.
did go up.
Okay. Because you said, oh, you already authorized it, it's actually
That's why
authorized. on board.
well, it's a different vendor, and it's a different price, so of course we have to bring it back to the,
Okay, so it isn't just a reauthorization, it's more money.
if I
Which
said
assume-
reauthorization, I apologize.
Yeah, which
I
I
did.
assume we would be paying.
It wouldn't be here if we could just do it without the governing body, but yes, correct.
Thank you, Mr. Goins.
And it doesn't surprise me that they canceled.
Thank you.
Well, yes, uncommon though, I will tell you. It's still uncommon for state or municipal work, but anyway.
Good evening, everyone. Jerry Hines, 808 Turner Avenue. And I'm not sure if this is the proper time to ask. I think you said for consent agenda items only, but I wanted to ask a question of Mr. Seegers, if that's okay.
We'll have public
Consent.
comment again, right, Mayor?
Yeah, I'll have public comment if
Okay,
it's
so come
outside of
back.
the consent agenda. We'll have
Okay.
that in probably about a couple more motions.
Stand by.
And then at that time, you could ask any question about anything.
This might not be the right time for my question also.
Yeah, this is just
This
consent
is just the
agenda.
consent agenda, those
Oh, it's
resolutions.
my turn then.
Okay, then, come on up.
Jamela Shepherd, 215 Front Street, Palmyra, New Jersey, on behalf of the Civic Club of Riverton, East Riverton, and Palmyra. And I just want clarity on the part about Union Landing sidewalk improvements. What are the
That
sidewalk?
wasn't on the, that's not part of the consent agenda. That was part of this committee secrets, yeah. So
We'll be able to answer.
we'll be able, you can come back up and ask that question during,
5
There's-
5 minutes.
Depending on how the next few minutes
Yeah.
go, it could be very
it
quick.
could be very quick, but yes. All right, seeing no one else come forward, I will make a motion to close public comment on the consent agenda. May I have a second?
I will second that.
Voice vote, please. Ayes?
Aye.
Nays, abstentions, ayes have it. May I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
I will make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Conda. May I have a second?
I'll second that, Madam Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. McGill. Roll call vote, please, Madam Secretary.
Yes, Mayor. Mr. Conda.
Aye.
Mr. Horner.
Aye.
Mr. Seagrass.
Aye.
Deputy Mayor McGill.
Aye.
Mayor Craybill.
Aye.
Thank you.
Okay, approval of the minutes. May I have a motion to approve the minutes of October 17th, 2022?
Madam Mayor, I'll make a motion to approve the minutes of October 17th, 2022.
Thank you, Mr. Conda. I will second. Roll call vote, please, Madam Secretary.
Mr. Conda.
Aye.
Mr. Horner.
Aye.
Mr. Seagrass.
Aye.
Deputy Mayor McGill.
Aye.
Mayor Craybill.
Aye.
Thank you.
Approval of the bills. May I have a motion to approve the bill list?
Madam Mayor, I'll make a motion to approve the bill list.
Thank you, Mr. Horner. May I have a second?
I'll second that, Madam Mayor.
Roll call vote, please, Madam Secretary.
Mr. Conda.
Aye.
Mr. Horner.
Aye.
Mr. Seagrass.
Aye.
Deputy Mayor McGill.
Aye.
Mayor Craybill.
Aye.
Thank you.
Okay, do we have any comments from our staff or our professionals this evening?
Justin? Not me? Okay.
All right, now we'll move on to public comment. May I have a motion to open public comment?
I will make that motion, Madam Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Segrist. I will second the motion. Voice vote, please. Ayes?
Aye.
Nays, abstentions, ayes have it. Public comment is now open. Please come forward and state your name and address for the record.
See, it was give or take 5 minutes. We were good, right?
Jerry Hines, 808 Turner Avenue. My question's for Mr. Segrist. You had mentioned about the sidewalk improvements along Union Landing Road, and I just wanted you to elaborate on that as to whether that means improving the existing sidewalks, which are not that many, or adding more sidewalk, because since the light rail and Walmart, we're getting a lot more foot traffic of people who are walking really in the street, some of them with carts, which they probably shouldn't have, but, and I'm just wondering, is there any plan for more sidewalks along Union Landing Road?
So, Eric, you might need to help me a little bit because I don't know what was in the application, what we actually applied for.
So, great question, and the reason you don't know, Committee Member Seagrass, is the application isn't
Well, just the
complete yet.
specifics on what was
That's why,
included.
yeah, so we are looking at adding sidewalk, the answer to your first question. But our engineer right now is looking at everything to see where and how much, and based upon the amount of funding that we could request, but the intent is to add sidewalk.
A good stretch of that's private land though, right?
It is.
Yeah.
So it's a little bit, it's tougher than most roads for us to be able to just say, we want to add sidewalk, but we know it's been brought here many times that a concern from our community, so we're trying to address it as best we can.
And I guess that would be on the side where Hunter's Farm is?
Correct.
On that side of the,
That's the
okay.
stretch we're looking at, actually.
Okay.
Yeah.
And the second question I have, and I don't know if anyone knows it, does anybody know now with that warehouse on Taylor's Lane, who will be occupying that warehouse? This is,
Silence is deafening.
There's several different questions and answers I could provide. Are you asking, do I know, or can I tell you? Actually, the answer is no to both. We don't, at this point, this is something that we're excited about. Mayor, may I? It's a major project. There's a lot of money invested in that project by the developer, and as you might suspect, they keep things pretty close to the vest until they absolutely know when they're ready to move ahead. So we're as excited as you can imagine, because it's a big project in town. We want to make sure it's done right. But as far as that's concerned, as soon as we know, you'll know.
okay, thank you.
Mr. Schubert, would you mind elaborating as far as the tax structure is concerned, whether or not there is a tenant?
Your CFO was happy to explain that when the CO is issued for the building, it is a tax rateable, regardless of when that occurs. Is that what you're alluding to, Mr. Horner?
That's exactly.
Yes.
what I'm alluding to.
Thanks for having me clarify what you were clarifying.
You say it so much.
I don't know about that. Okay.
Jamala Shepherd, 215 Front Street, Palmyra, New Jersey, on behalf of the Civic Club of Riverton, East Riverton, and Palmyra. My question is, on September 19th, at this meeting, I had asked that the crosswalks at Union Landing and Hunter and the crosswalk at Union Landing and Roland, that they be repainted. And my understanding when I left the meeting, that it would be done. And so far, it has not been done, and school has been in since September. It's just the crosswalk area. Roland, Union Landing and Roland, and Union Landing and Hunter. As of today, it has not been done. I would just like to know when we can expect it to be done. My understanding was that by this meeting, which is in November, it would be done.
If I gave a date, then I misspoke, because I don't think I would have done that, but it's definitely a project we want to get done. I'm working with Public Works and our engineers on it. I know, but it's in the hopper to get done. It's important. So
Okay,
I don't want to give you a date, but it will get done.
because it is a crosswalk, we have to watch out for the little people.
Agreed, totally.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Thank you.
Mike Goins, 100 Purnell. So where are we with the Republic? They have been doing better, but I was wondering, what's the township's position on what we're doing about them?
Yeah, what's that?
We're not that happy with them, Mr. Goins, as you might expect.
Yeah, but they've been doing better, though.
Now, this is on the record, you're saying this.
They have been doing better.
I'm kidding. So yes, they have been better. Kevin's here. I've said this before. Our superintendent of public works spends a lot of time with trash collection, and it's a contract, and we're lucky to have him get so involved. His work has really made, I think, a positive impact on getting responses from new management again. They keep changing. They keep changing. We get names thrown at us a lot. Kevin and I sit down with the new managers every time there's new managers and give them the same speech and help them with maps and help them do their job, essentially. But we know it's important to do because it's an important service. While they have done better, I've shared with the members of the governing body, Kevin, myself, our engineer, our attorney, we have prepared and reviewed a lot of documents to put us in a situation that if we want to go in another direction, that we're prepared to do so. Because while this has been going on, and as you referenced the improvement, there's also days where it's just not there still, and we're concerned about the continual change in management and having to retrain their employees. So we are close to being in a position to have another meeting with our subcommittee to decide where we want to go. I think you know this. We talk about it every day. Every day, Kevin's on the phone with them several times a day. A lot of communications. So it's a real strain on us in the community.
So
we
it's something
totally
we're still
get it.
looking at, and maybe going by bring internal or whatever we might do.
We might.
It's not on the back burner type of thing.
No, and I will say that probably at the next meeting, and I think the governing body's aware of this, at least some of them, we just went out to bid for a multi-use vehicle. Kevin's here. Giving models and stuff is not my forte. He'll explain what this truck does. One of the things that this multi-use truck will do is collect trash, if necessary. We don't want to get in the trash business. We have a contractor that we pay to do it. We want to utilize our resources elsewhere. There's a lot of things to get done in town. As we've been told again tonight, there are. But we're prepared to jump in because the residents expect their trash to be picked up. And if we don't need it for trash, it'll be utilized for other things in the department to help us.
Okay.
So we're looking at a lot of different things.
Very good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Goins. Okay, seeing no one else come forward, I will make a motion to close public comment. May I have a second?
I'll second that, Madam Mayor.
Okay, thank you, Mr. McGill. Voice vote, please. Ayes?
Aye.
Aye. Nays, abstentions, ayes have it. Public comment is now closed. Do we have any comments from committee members tonight?
I have nothing this evening, Madam Mayor.
Madam Mayor, I'd just like to wish all of our employees and everyone, our residents, a happy Thanksgiving. And that's basically it, for real.
Yeah. Happy Thanksgiving, everyone.
No duty,
Okay,
no duty tonight.
I just wanted to express that the township is thinking of Maddie Harris and her family. I'm also touched with the outpouring of support, love, and kindness that this community is showing and displaying towards this family. It just touches me that we have a community that shows up and supports its neighbors, strangers, friends, passerbys. This community comes together, and I want to share my gratitude with this community as a whole. Please keep the Harris family in your prayers. I know they have a long road ahead of them, but with a community like this, I think that we'll be there to support them. And I also extend a happy Thanksgiving to everyone here, you and your family, and the community as a whole. That's all I have. Anybody else? Okay. May I have a motion to adjourn the meeting?
I'll make a motion to adjourn the meeting, Madam Mayor.
May I have a second?
I'll second that.
Voice vote, please. Ayes?
Aye.
Nays, abstentions? Ayes have it. This meeting is adjourned. Next meeting is Monday, December 5th, 2022 at 6:30 PM.